Okay, hello everyone. So hopefully you were able to attend the live lecture on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, but this is just going to go through the rest of the lab and the important instructions you need to know. So I know it's a lot. Please stay tuned. It'll be posted on YouTube so you can watch me on 2x speed, but definitely pay attention and take notes. So this first half, it's a little bit for you. This is completely optional, but like I said, I went through my undergrad at Long Beach and I was really lost and I didn't know what I was doing most of the time. So these are just little pieces of guidance for whatever option you're in that I think might help you a little bit. So there is this tab on Beachboard called Supplementary Materials. And like I said, completely optional, but you'll find all the degree requirements for your major. They may be an old version, so please make sure you double check your current catalog year. And then helpful links to guide you into your future career in education. I talk with a lot of you guys. It's a little bit difficult online, but I try to get to know your different options. I was exercise science. I know a lot about exercise science, but it was good to talk to fitness majors or to sports psych majors and kind of see what your guys' interests were, what you guys were doing for future careers. And I took notes. So these are just, if it wasn't about XI, then I took notes and I found helpful links that I thought you guys might like to check out. So feel free to look at those. Again, completely optional. Don't feel like you need to. The next thing is Excel help. A lot of you guys, this is probably your first time using Excel unless you took a stats class. So I can understand it's really intimidating and it is pretty difficult for me to help you with Excel through email. So please try and take a look at these links before you go and ask me, because we will be working with Excel a lot and Excel can be your absolute best friend. I do everything on Excel. I make my budget, I make my school schedule, I do my work, and it's just a perfect way to keep myself organized once you get to know it. So I highly recommend checking out these beginners videos. I have one for Windows, Macs, and tablets because I know it's a little bit different on each one. So definitely check those out before labs get started. Okay, the more important stuff, let's get started. So Zoom links will be reoccurring. I have posted the link in the note that you guys attended. It's going to be the same link that you guys clicked on, but to find it every time, you can just go to Beachboard and go to the tab called Zoom links, and it'll have the one for your specific section. Office hours are also reoccurring. So my office hours are on Wednesdays from 10 to 12. You can always email me if you can't make those times. My schedule is insane, but I'll definitely try to fit you in. And I will send you a separate link if you need to email me for office hours. But these ones, this will be a reoccurring link, but you do have to sign up for it. So if you click on this link right below here, and it's going to be on the same tab as well, it's called Office Hours Sign In. It's an Excel sheet and it's beautiful. Just click it, open it up, and just put in your name for the time that you want to come into and the reason you're coming in. So let's say you have a question about Excel, just be like, Don Batanza, questions about Excel. And then that way I can kind of gauge how long it's going to take us to meet. So that way if I have to move around some other people, I can. If no one comes to my office hours, I won't be at my computer. So if you don't sign up, and I'll check like, you know, what is it? I'll check Wednesday morning during lecture. I'll check at like 9 a.m. before I'm supposed to have my office hours. If no one's there, I'll be in the lab doing other work. So I won't be at my laptop. So that's why I say, please sign in early. If you know you want to come in and talk to me the day before, or even after like lecture, you have some questions for me, please sign into my office hours early, because if not, I won't be around my laptop and I won't be able to meet with you guys. So like I said, please sign in. Okay. So it is a weird structure online. We're going to try to make it as similar to what it would be like in lab as possible if we were in person, but what's going to happen is I'm going to take attendance. So I'm pretty much going to stare at the screen, see who's there. I'm going to go do a mini lecture about content that I feel like is relevant for that day. And this will be explained a little bit more. Any reminders for the next week, if you have the lab manual due, if you have a exam coming up. Then we're going to do the breakdown of the methods video. So I'm just going to give a super brief overview of the methods. We're going to watch a methods video. And it's stuff we pre-recorded in the lab this week. And then you guys are gonna fill out your data sheets as fully as possible and then go through the discussion questions on your own. Really important, you guys can finish your lab manuals the day of lab. And I don't know if you guys ever had any friends in 301. That's never been the case. We've completely changed the structure of 301 and the lab manuals this year. And it's so different than what we used to do. So don't try to use any of your friends' stuff to like copy, because it won't work. It's completely different. But you guys can be done the day of lab. You can meet with me for like at most 2 hours and never have to think about lab for the rest of the week. And you guys are on Monday and Tuesday, so you'll be done with lab in the beginning of the week. So I highly encourage you to stay the full time for lab. I know 3 hours is a lot, and I don't think I'll always ask you for the full time, but I would highly recommend staying. And then I am going to ask you to just share your screen real quick, show me that at least you've done the calculations, because some of the calculations are a little weird, and I'd like to make sure that you have it all filled out and you know what you're doing. So you're gonna share your screen, show me your data sheet, and be like, if you really feel like you don't want me to help you with these discussion questions, you can leave. But I would stay, because I will probably give you the answers if you really ask me. And like I said, you'll be done with lab that day. So please stay. Okay, lab grades. So like I said, we've completely changed the structure of lab. It's formatted to fit the online teaching style a little bit more, but it's going to be applicable for later years, hopefully. But you guys will have 10 lab manuals, and each one will be 10 points. And so if you go to the lab manual instructions tab on Beachboard, there's something called the lab manual guidelines, which will really help walk you through what's to be expected from you for the entire lab manual. So it's there for you. Don't be upset if I'm a hard grader, because I literally give you all the instructions you need to get 100% in lab. And I believe that gives me the freedom to be a little bit tougher with your grading. So please check out all of this before you complete the first lab manual, or else you probably won't get full credit on your stuff. And I'm just being honest with you guys. As for attendance, all you have to do is show up and maybe type one thing into the chat, and that's it. So for attendance, each class time is 3.5 points, and it will be for 10 classes, and you get a total of 36 points. So one will be like a random free point. That'll give you those as long as you show up to everything. So lab manual schedule. This is again available in lab manual instructions. It explains everything you need to know for the whole schedule for both lecture and lab. So hopefully this is a good way for you guys to organize. As you guys can see, on the weeks we have exams, we won't meet for lab, which I think is really nice. It gives you guys to completely focus on lecture exams. And I believe the GA, so Sophia, she'll be hosting exam reviews. So you guys get to review with her the couple days before a lecture, and then you don't have to worry about lab for the rest of the week. So exam 1, 2, and 3, there are no labs. And then finals, there's no labs as well. Okay, so these are the lab manual instructions I was talking about. This is actually on the bottom of the lab manual schedule. So make sure you read through the full thing. Your guys' lab manuals will be due the night before lab. So for my Monday class, it is due at Sunday at 11:59, and then Tuesday, it'll be due on Monday at 11:59. Everything is submitted through Dropbox. Sorry, I used the word notebook, and that was for last year, but notebook and lab manual can be used interchangeably. Everything's online. You don't have to write it out, scan it, post it. You can type everything straight into the Word document, save it, and submit it through Dropbox. I will do my absolute best to give you guys feedback that Saturday. So you're gonna submit it on Sunday or Monday, and I will give you feedback by Saturday. So that way, any feedback that I think needs to be changed for the next lab, you can apply by that Sunday before your lab manuals are due. That's my biggest goal for you guys this semester, because I want my grades to be on point so you guys don't have to stress about it. The Dropbox closes at 11:59, so anything that's late, I'm sorry, this is supposed to be a 3, not a 5-point penalty, but it's a 3-point penalty. So let's say you submit it on, I guess technically Monday at midnight. So Monday at 12 a.m. is when you submit it. That's a minute late. It's still considered late, So I will be taking 3 points away from whatever raw score you already got. So let's say you got a 10 out of 10 on your lab manual, but it was 1 minute late. You would only be able to get a max point of 7 out of 10. And then let's say it's like another day late, then that's what, -3. You will learn that I can't do mental math super well. So 4 points out of 10. So don't be late. They're not hard. Like I said, you can get it finished the day of. If you finish it that day and you want to submit it into the Dropbox same day, you can totally do that. You don't have to worry about it ever again. So yeah. Plagiarism, it's a thing. Don't do it. I don't like it. We use Turnitin. I can tell if you do, and I understand that a lot of the material that we will be going over is similar. You guys are all using the same data, and of course your analysis is going to be similar, but don't text your group members, be like, hey, would you guys put for, you know, discussion question number 2, okay, let me just copy and paste it from you, because I will take points away and I probably won't grade that section. So be careful of that. Okay, we already talked about plagiarism. Don't do it. Cotter doesn't like it. He's expelled people for it. So yeah, just avoid it. Okay, take a quick break, grab a drink of water, because this is probably the most important part out of everything that I'm going to talk about today. So everyone ready? Okay. All right. How to complete your lab manual. So how to complete the bulk of your lab grade. And remember, lab is supposed to help you, not hinder you. These lecture exams, they're brutal. I'm not gonna lie to you. They can get pretty tough. I'm really hoping that this lab is set up in a way where you can get an easy 136 points. That's a 30-year grade. You'll be chilling in lecture from there. So please focus and let's get you 100% in lab. Okay, so it's going to be split up in introduction, methods, results, and discussion. That's every lab manual. It looks more or less the same, except for one lab. There's going to be one exception, but I'll get to it when we get to that lab. Okay, so the introduction, this is what the very first lab looks like. You guys can take a look at it. It's already posted on the beach board, but this is lab 1, the muscular power lab. And you guys will see there's a lot of these blanks. And so I will be going through like what I call my mini lecture in the beginning of lab, and I will be giving you these answers to the blanks. So as long as you're paying attention, I would maybe recommend having like the Zoom. If you guys have split screen, hopefully you have that capability. You can have like the Zoom on split screen so you can see the slides, and then you have your lab manual pulled up so that way you can follow along, or if you like pen and paper, you can print them out, I guess, and take notes, whatever you really want to do. So I will give you all the answers to these. You just have to follow along. And I know I do talk really fast, and it's something I'm working on. So if you miss something and I click through and you don't like raise your hand in time and I don't see you, these slides will be posted. And so you should be able to go back through the introduction slides and be able to fill in these answers. And if not, like I said, you have your group members and you have me, you can really just ask me. The biggest thing I ask for you guys is to leave these highlighted. And this is just a little tip for you to get a better score. The more, the more structured and the more clear your lab manuals are, the more likely you're gonna get a better score. Because I grade, I have 40 students this semester. I grade 40 papers in probably a day. I'm gonna be skimming them. So if you have them clearly highlighted, I can skim through your paper and I won't be angry, and I'm probably gonna give you full credit. So like I said, just highly recommend leaving them all highlighted so that way it's easier for me to look at your paper. So that's the intro. These are going to be 1 point because you're just following along. It's pretty nice and simple. You should be able to fill out all the blanks pretty easily. For the methods, there are also blanks in them. So similar style, I will be going through the methods before we watch the video, and I'll be giving you a very brief summary. So you'll be able to fill in like certain blanks here and there. You might not get all of them. If I'm talking too fast, that's okay, because we'll watch the methods video, and in the beginning of the methods video, we have like a clear step-by-step process too. So you can kind of fill in the methods as you watch the video as well. And like I said, again, at the very end, if you guys really missed anything, we can chat through it and double check that, to make sure everyone got everything. Again, leave these highlighted so that way I can see that you got the correct one. Because if they're not highlighted, I'm just gonna assume it's not there. Okay. Another super important thing, I will not be posting the methods videos. I'm going to repeat that. I will not be posting the methods videos. And the reason this is because we don't film labs in person and then we don't post them afterwards. So like I said, we're trying to mimic this to the same style as in person as much as possible. So you have to be present in class. You have to sit there. You have to watch my screen in order to get the methods video and the results. So show up to every class. If you don't, like for some reason you can't make either the Monday morning class or the Tuesday morning class, you can email me and you can attend one of my other sections. Or you can even attend another TA section. We can make that work. But again, attendance is mandatory. So, and then I'll go over this on this next one. Okay, so attendance is mandatory, right? You get 3.5 points for just showing up and for filling out a poll. So what I'll do is, this is your purpose statement and your IV and DV. This is in your lab manual as well. There's usually a box. This isn't gonna get graded. This is more like a notes section for you. So this, you can go and like take notes. I'm gonna give you guys, we're gonna go through the methods. We're like, all right, everyone, take about 5 minutes. Let's come up with the purpose statement. Let's come up with your independent variables, your dependent variables, and a hypothesis for each experiment. And then I'll sit and hang out while you guys fill that out. Like I said, you can just take quick notes on here. It doesn't have to be super organized. It doesn't have to be complete sentences. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a poll on the screen, or I might just have you guys put it in the chat. Once you guys put that, once I have the poll on the screen, you fill out what you have for each comment, or I might just like pick one, so like, what's the purpose statement and what do you guys have for experiment 3? As long as you fill that poll out and as long as you put something in the chat, then you get the 3.5 points for the day. But if you don't show up to class and you don't do the purpose statement and the hypothesis, then that's a 0. Unless you email me and you attend another one of my sections and you get credit for that. So pretty important. Pretty clear though, pretty easy. I feel like that's an easy 3.5 points. You just gotta sit there and you're not gonna get graded on like correctness. Like you just put whatever you think is right, then I'm gonna give you credit for it. Sorry if I'm stressing you guys out. I promise it's gonna be so much easier than what I'm making it seem like. But it's gonna be a learning curve for the both of us because I've never done lab like this before, obviously. So stick with me, okay guys? Okay, the results. This looks super intimidating, but it's not, it's really easy. You will be the primary recorder. And so this is what I mean when you have to attend class in order to fill out your lab manual. You literally will not be able to complete it if you don't come to class. You're going to fill in this results table while you're watching the experiment. So I'll be having the methods video playing on YouTube. And like I said, hopefully you have split screen, or you can print this out if you really want to do that. You can print it out, and as you're watching the video, we're gonna do, let's do the vertical jump. That's easy. So we're gonna measure someone's vertical jump. And so we're gonna have the video and they're gonna do one big jump and they're gonna hit the panes. We're gonna be like, okay, that one was 89 inches. So you're gonna write down 89 inches right there. And then the next child, okay, that one was 94 inches. Okay, you write down 94 inches. All right, last one was 94 inches again. So you write down 94 inches. And then you're gonna calculate their vertical jump for each one. So you're gonna fill out those boxes. And then you're gonna fill out this equation on the bottom. And then over here, you can use like the percentile rank. There'll be tables at the end, so you can write down your percentile rank, right? So you guys are filling this out as you're watching the methods video. So like I said, super important that you come, and then you only have to show work when you're asked. So I know I have this huge long formula here. You can, if you're writing or if you're typing, like you can do your work on the bottom, but I don't really need you to show it to me unless it says, and this will be more relevant for body composition. It'll be like, you know, here's the box that, here's the answer I want. Show your work in the box below. Then I want you to show your work. But if it's just something like this, you just gotta fill in the blanks. And like anything that's grayed, like that needs to be filled out too. So like those lines, you gotta fill all those out, and anything with a box. Yeah, okay. And then at the very end of the day, like we'll go through and we'll go through all of them if you guys really need me to. If you miss something, you don't really understand how to calculate something, we'll go through it. Like I said, you're gonna share your screen, you're gonna show me like, hey Dom, look, I finished everything, you know, am I good to go? And be like, yeah, sure, feel free to leave the meeting. but you do have to have this completely done. Okay, say the last part. Okay, results continued. Sometimes you'll be asked to make a graph, and this is where Excel comes in handy. Actually, Excel becomes mandatory because you can't make a graph. I would highly recommend using Microsoft Excel and not Google Sheets. Google Sheets can get a little bit wonky with some of the data sheets I'm going to ask you to analyze. So I would use Microsoft Excel. You guys get it for free. Being a student, there's a free Microsoft Office download. So I would use that. Same thing, don't use Google Docs when you're submitting these lab manuals. Download the Word document and just use Word. It's the easiest way to kind of transfer everything, and that way I can grade and Dropbox doesn't get crazy. Okay, so all figures have to have a chart title, so that's that in bold. It has an x-axis with units in parentheses, a y-axis with units in parentheses, a figure description. And if you guys have never done this before, have never read a scientific article, a graph is called a figure. And so it'll be, you'll say figure 1, and it'll be graph depicting, you know, body fat percentage versus the one squat, 1 repetition maximum. So it's pretty much just explaining what your variables are and what the heck you're seeing in this graph. And then sometimes we'll ask you to use an R-squared value or describe an R-squared value. So you'll have to insert a trend line and place the R-squared value in just any spot that I can see. You have to have all of these things to get full credit for your graph, okay? So make sure you have the figure description, the R-squared, the chart title. If you don't, then you won't get full credit for it. Okay, so this is the last section of your lab manual, and it is the bulk of your points. The first half, that's gonna be 4 points total. This will be 6 points. Each of these questions is 2 points. So I expect a 2-point answer, if that makes sense, right? So don't give me 1 sentence. That's not going to be a 2-point answer. I want like a full ass paragraph. Sorry, you guys will notice I cuss a little bit. So I want a full paragraph when you guys do this. So your definition one, this one should be pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I do want full sentences. So remember, we're big kids. We know how to write. Let's do it. So no bullet points, no numbering, no dashes. I want full sentences. You're just gonna recall the information from the first half of the slide. So either in the introduction or anything I give you in the slides is fair game. And so like for this first one, define the parameters of athletic performance. So it'll be like, you know, muscular endurance is the ability to, the ability to sustain a submaximal contraction for an extended period of time. Then classify each experiment based on the energy system used, right? So full sentences explain what everything is. Application, this will be asking you to analyze whatever data you got. Oh, I have application twice, sorry, analysis. Analysis is going to be for you to analyze whatever data we got from our data sheets or the graph, right? So using the graph, does it look like there's a relationship between the two? And I asked you to specifically talk about using the correlation coefficient, which is your R-squared value. So based on the R-squared value, you know, does it look like these two are strongly correlated? And then can you explain why? So you always want to explain why. And then lastly is going to be your application one. So this is applying what we learned in lab to the real world. And obviously that's the whole point of this class. You know, lab section is supposed to be applied. So why is this relevant? Why do I make you do these things? Why am I, you know, when are you ever going to use this in real life? Because that's always the biggest question. Like when I was taking algebra, I was like, when am I ever going to have to find X? Like I'm never going to have to do that. But I promise you guys will probably have to do this at some point in your life. So this very first one, pick an athlete, pick your favorite sport, whatever you want, and talk about when you would use each of the 3 parameters that you learned about and defined in question 1. And so it's kind of applying it. If you don't play sports, maybe your sibling plays sports, or, you know, dance counts as a sport. If you do cheer or gymnastics, like there's all these different things. So even if, you know, you don't love sports, there's a way to apply it. If you don't love sports, you may be in the wrong major because we work more or less always with athletes. So highly consider that. Okay. So like I said, you can find these lab manual guidelines in the lab manual instructions, read them all the way through. So like I said, all blanks are filled in. Results, it's completely completed. Jesus. It's fully completed. you can either type directly into the data sheet, or you can print it out, write on it, scan it, upload it. If you are going to print it out, don't take a picture on your phone. I don't care what camera quality you have. Like, you're gonna get it all crooked. It's gonna be ugly. I'm not gonna like it, and I'm just gonna be sad when I grade it. And you don't want me sad when I'm grading. So just make it as legible as possible, because like I said, if I can't read it, I'm not gonna bother grading it. I don't have the time for that. So just make it clear and concise. Graphs should be beautiful. Questions should be answered completely. Oh, the most important thing for your discussion, and it's gonna feel really weird. Not so much because, you know, you're not doing the experiment, but you should always refer to the person as the subject. So, you know, subject got a fair, or was placed in the fair category, you know, not say, oh, he was fair. Like, no, try to use avoid using I, avoid using you, you know, we, all those kind of pronouns. We want everyone to be referred to as a subject, because when you do research, you know, everything's anonymous. We don't want to expose the participant, because sometimes it is personal information. So you always want to be very ambiguous when you're writing scientifically. Okay, that's it. We did it. And I know that was long, and I'm very sorry, but like I said, watch me on 2x speed and it's fine. So next week is the start of labs. Things are getting real. So we're gonna be doing our muscular strength, endurance, and power labs. So like I said, in the very beginning, you guys are all gonna sign into the reoccurring Zoom meeting. We're going to go through a mini lecture. You're going to be able to fill out your introduction with my mini lecture. I'll briefly go over the methods. You'll start filling out the lab manual as best as possible. You will watch the methods video. You'll continue filling out your lab manual, fill out the data sheet. I'll give you guys some time to meet with your groups, and that way you guys can work on the results together. You guys can work on the calculations together, divide and conquer if you want, if that's what you want to do. You guys will then show me your data sheet and make sure that everything is clear. And I will say, cool, you are good to go, but I will highly recommend that you stay for the next 5 minutes at least look over the discussion questions. If you want to work on the discussion questions, I will stay in the meeting. You guys can work on the discussion questions. You want to share your screen with me, I'll be like, that is an A++, 6-point answers right there. And then you could submit it into Dropbox that day and then not think about lab for the rest of the week. So yeah, that's lab. I'm very excited to work with you guys. I know this is not ideal, and it sucks. I very much like being in person. As you guys can tell, I'm a very animated individual. But yeah, we'll get through this. We'll make it work, and I will do my best to take care of you guys in both lecture and lab. Because again, I'm here for you. I know it can be intimidating. I'm a second-year grad student. I might seem mean, but I promise you, I'm just doing what I think is best for you. Because I went through it. I was right there in your shoes, and this is what I wish my TA would have done for me. So feel free to email me if you guys ever have any questions, or if you want to talk a little bit more, feel free to sign up for my office hours. They'll be starting, I guess, next week. And yeah, all right, guys, take care, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.